Hello everyone. Welcome you all to the session of Banking and Financial Service. I am Impa Bilyappa, Associate Professor, Department of Management Sciences, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. Previously, we were discussing few of the topics of Unit 2, which was check truncation system, electronic clearing system, and then electronic fund transfer. In today's class, we'll start Unit 3, which is merchant banking. This chapter actually covers topics such as categories of merchant banking, services offered by merchant banking, issue management, post-issue, pre-issue, related to issue of shares in the primary market, then related to the issue pricing, how an issue should be priced, drafting of prospectus, issue management throughout the issue of shares, how do you manage it, managing of the issue, underwriting, private placement, difference between the book building and fixed price issue. All these concepts we learn in this unit. To start with, before going for the categories and services offered of merchant bankers, let's know what do you mean by merchant banking, who is a merchant banker and what is merchant banking. Okay, let's know about it. So, if you have to tell about the concept of merchant banking is a combination of banking and consultancy services. Okay, it provides consultancy to its clients for the financial marketing, managerial and legal matters. Consultancy means to provide advice, guidance and services for a particular fee. They charge a fee for the purpose of providing advice and guidance. Okay, it helps the businessmen to start a business. They help them to start a business, raise finance, help them to expand and modernize the business, help them to restructuring of the business, revive 6 units, and also helps companies to register, buy and sell shares at the stock exchange. All these activities can be done with the help of a merchant banker. Okay. Along with this, if we have to be clear about the meaning of merchant banking is defined as a skill-oriented professional service provided by merchant banks. So, there are 3 concepts in this, just pay concentration. Merchant banks to their clients concerning their financial needs and adequate consideration in the form of a fee. Okay, and who provides it? Merchant banker. So, here you have seen 3 main key people, that is, one is the merchant banking, another one is the merchant banks, and another one is merchant banker. Merchant banker is the person who provides these services. Okay, now, merchant banks is the institution and merchant banking is the process of getting the things done. And here it is defined as a skill-oriented professional service. It's a service. Skill-oriented professional service which is provided by the merchant banks to their clients. Okay, what kind of services? In case they need any financial needs or any adequate consideration, the merchant bankers will help you to get that for a particular fee. Okay, that is related to the meaning of merchant banking. Let's know the definition of merchant banking. So, according to the notification of the Ministry of Finance, defines merchant banker as any person who is engaged in the business of issue management. Means here issue management in the sense issue of shares in the primary market. Okay, this we will have learned in the IM, investment management, the other subject. Okay, so any person who is engaged in the business of issue management either by making arrangement regarding selling, buying or subscribing to securities as manager, consultant, advisor or rendering corporate advisory services in relation to such issue management. Okay, either it can render services to issue management or help them in buying, selling or subscribing any kind of securities. Okay, that is related to the meaning and definition of merchant banking. So, I have told you merchant, who is a merchant, what is merchant banking and who is a merchant banker. Okay, merchant banker is a person who provides these services. Okay, merchant banking is an institution or service providence. It's a process of providing the service. Let's know the difference. So in our second unit, let's link with the second unit. In our second unit, we learned about the commercial banks. So in the third unit, we are learning about the merchant banks. So what is the difference between the commercial banks and the merchant banks? Okay. To begin with, the customers are one of the concept. Okay. Both have customers, but their needs are different. When we come to the commercial banks, it caters the needs of a common man. So it might be the deposits or it might be the withdrawals. It caters the needs of a common man. But when in terms of merchant banking, when we speak, it contains the needs of corporate firms. Okay, company wise, they are much favorable to companies where they give services to the corporate firms. That is the first difference. Okay. Second difference is any person can open up a bank account in a commercial bank. That's quite easy. Any customer with a minimum deposit, you can open an account in commercial banks. But it's not that easy to avail service through merchant banking. That is the second difference. Let's move on to third. Merchant banking deals with equities, whereas commercial banks deals with debt related finance. Debt related finance where they provide loans like credit proposals, loan structure, all that will come in commercial banks, whereas in merchant banking they normally deals with how to issue a share, how to raise equity. That we are going to learn. Okay, let's move on to the fourth difference. The merchant banker is exposed to the market, but market and risk is also high when compared to the commercial banks. They are not that much exposed to market risk, changing and fluctuations. They are not that exposed, and the risk is comparatively less because they don't do any decision making. Whereas merchant bankers, they do the decision making. Decision making is very important in merchant banking. Whereas commercial banks, that kind of decision making is not there. Okay, merchant banks is related to a primary market where I just told you now issuing of shares is done, which is the primary market. Whereas commercial banks are related to the secondary market. Once the money flows into the bank, it's just exchange buying and selling, depositing the money and availing of loans. So merchant banking is a kind of related to a primary market, and commercial banks are related to the secondary market. Okay, and merchant banking activities are like capital restructuring, underwriting, portfolio management, whereas commercial banks, it is only the role of finance, managing the funds which comes into the bank and flows out of the bank. The activities of merchant banking has a direct impact on the growth of the economy, of the money markets, growth and liquidity of the money markets. Whereas in the commercial banks, it's an indirect channel. Okay, merchant banks management is oriented, whereas commercial banks is asset oriented. Merchant banking is management oriented. Who is heading what kind of decisions they make, what is their role, that is very important. Whereas the commercial banks, it is like asset oriented. What are the assets you are pledging, how much loan you are getting, how are you doing the savings, that kind of concept is there. Okay, and the last difference to tell you all, the commercial banks generally avoid risk. They don't like to take much risk, whereas the merchant bankers, as I said, the market fluctuations are there, so they are very much probable to attract the risk. So these are certain differences related to the merchant banking and commercial banks. So by doing this, you have understood what is the importance to know the difference between merchant bank and commercial bank. Okay, moving ahead with the leading, before going to merchant banking, that is features or characteristics of merchant banking, let's know in India which are the popular categories, not the categories, popular institutions which provide the merchant banking services. In India, it is divided into 3 sets, whereas private sector, public sector and foreign players. So these are, this is how according to their registration it is segregated. So public sector merchant bankers in India are like SBI Capital Markets, Punjab National Bank, IFCI Financial Services. These are few public sector merchant bankers, and private sector bankers are like ICICI Securities, Axis Bank, Bajaj Capital, Tata Capital Markets, Yes Bank, Kotak Mahindra Capital Company and Reliance Securities. These are certain private firms, private sector companies which are offering merchant banking services. And then related to foreign merchant bankers, it is Goldman Sachs. You've heard about the famous company Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley India, Barclays Securities, Bank of America, Citigroup Global Market India. These are certain companies which are foreign merchant bankers. So we have learned the meaning, difference and the leading merchant bankers in the country. So let's know the features of merchant banking, or we can even call the characteristics of merchant banking. Okay, the high proportion of decision making, like whenever you compare to other kinds of business or other kinds of banking, the decision making is quite less. But in merchant banking, majority of the staff should have the decision making skills, know what to do and what not to do. Okay, that's quite important. And then quick decision making process. Any decision you want to take, it should be quick and it should be right. It doesn't mean that you make a quick decision with a wrong outcome. So it is always should be quick, and you have to make the right decision at the right time. That's important. And then high density of information, it's like a pool of information where lots of information can be retrieved related to the growth and economy of the country. Okay, intense contact with the environment. They normally, as I've said while I'm telling the difference, it has direct contact onto the economy, and it displays itself. Okay, intense contact with the environment. And loose organization structure. They don't have a restrictive organization structure. It's quite, they have liberality in that, and freedom is there, and a kind of decentralized working kind of environment is there. There is no particular stringent structure which need to be followed. Okay, and they have they could do concentrated on medium and short term engagements, not the long term commitment. Shorter duration commitments and medium term commitments are engaged quickly. They concentrate more towards that for its easy convertibility. Okay, then they emphasis on fee, because they are working for, they're providing the services for a pertaining fee. That's the reason they put the emphasize on fee and commission income. Okay, their main source of merchant banking is fee and commission income. So they stress on that a lot. And innovative instead of repetitive operations. See, each individual company will be different. It's not two companies are the same. So for each individual companies, you have to design a new process. So here what happens, the merchant bankers become innovative, where they try out new things for the development. Whereas it's not repetitive. It's not the work which are doing continuously for number of years. It's not like that. It keeps on changing. Every situation is new. Okay. Then next, sophisticated services on a national and international level. It not only contains the needs of the national, they provide services for the international level also. So it is almost global. Okay, and lower rate of profit distribution. They do not distribute the profit what the bank gets. It's lower rate of distribution. The distribution rate is quite low, and high liquidity ratio. The liquidity of the company is high. You can easily convert it into cash. These are certain features of merchant banking. Important ones are easy for quick decision making, and the staff who are there, they mainly concentrate on their ability should be for making the right decision at the right time. That's important. And then information flow is good, and directly linked with the economy. They don't have a particular structure, and their main income is fees and commission. So they emphasize on that. Innovation is very important in this business and not the repetitive doesn't work. Okay, sophisticated services are provided at a low rate of profit distribution, and the liquidity is also high. That is related to the features of merchant banking, or else you can even call the characteristics of merchant banking. Let's move on to the regulations of merchant bankers. So, in case you want to be a merchant banker, what to be done and what not to be done. Okay, to know that this merchant banking activity in India is regulated by SEBI, which also regulates the stock exchange and stock markets and stock exchange in your investment management. The same SEBI is going to, that is Security Exchange Board of India, is going to look through the banking activities of merchant bankers. And according to the rules of 1992, SEBI Act of or SEBI rules of 1992, what does the regulations or rules speak? The first or the main rule is, if you want to be a merchant banker, you can do it only with the certificate granted by SEBI. SEBI has to grant you a certificate. Okay, on the basis of that certificate, you're going to be labeled, or you're going to be, you can give the services to the merchant as a merchant banker to the clients only with that certificate. And to get that certificate, you have certain criteria. First criteria is you need to pay the registration fee to SEBI. So they have three sets of registration. The first one is application fee. There is an application fee. If you want to be a merchant banker, you need to buy the application, and it is not like a college application which you get for 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees. 50,000 is the cost of the application fee for initial registration and permanent registration both. It is 50,000 rupees application fees. Then you have initial registration fees of rupees 20 lakhs, and then you have permanent registration fees of rupees 9 lakhs. This is the fee structure of SEBI to be a merchant banker. If you wish to be a merchant banker, you need to apply to this by paying the registration fees. On condition that merchant banker would redress investors' grievances within 1 month of the investor's complaint, and would inform SEBI of such complaints received. So, the third regulation is whatever complaints they get, okay, those complaints have to be redressed within a month of receiving the complaint, and after resolving the complaint, they have to inform the merchant, they have to inform the SEBI regarding such complaints. Okay, that is the third regulation. Okay, next regulation is only if the applicant has the necessary infrastructure and manpower, then only they can carry out the function of merchant banking. Okay, so if you have to do any activities of merchant banking, you should have the necessary infrastructure and manpower. Okay, next the regulation is a minimum of 2 persons have to have experience related to the business of merchant banking, and they should be employed as employed at the time of application. Okay, they should be under employment. They should work in that merchant banking at the time of approval. Minimum 2 of the employees should be involved in the process of application, those who have experience in this merchant banking field. okay, or merchant banking business, who are well known of the activities and process and all. The next criteria or next regulation is if applicants fulfill the capital adequacy requirements. There is capital adequacy requirements. I'll tell you what is capital adequacy requirement. Capital adequacy requirement, it is the minimum amount which should be present, okay, that should not be less than the net worth of the applicant. Okay, whatever applicant's net worth is there, it should not be less than that. That should be capital adequacy requirement. That is capital contributed to the business plus free reserves. Okay, capital contributed to the business plus free reserves added together, it is called capital adequacy amount. Okay, and according to the capital adequacy norms, I'll tell you about the categories at the end. Okay, but I'll tell you the capital adequacy which is required for each category. In this, there are 4 categories. First category, the capital minimum net worth should be 5 crores. Second category, it should be 20 lakhs. Third category, it should be, second category, it should be 50 lakhs. Third category, it should be 20 lakhs. And for the fourth category, they can do the activities. They don't need any capital adequacy margin or a ratio. Okay. So, and one more thing is, the applicant should be professionally qualified by law, business or management. If they are qualified in these 3 professional courses, then they can easily be a part of this merchant banking. And the applicant should not have involved in any litigation involving the security market. Either it might be underwriting, either it might be primary market, either it might be secondary market. They should not be convicted by any court of law, that is, they should not have any kind of litigation. Okay. And last one, this the applicant should not have been convicted for any offence involving moral turpitude. Turpitude is where you're damaging a person's identity. Okay, so you should create your own identity, and moral values should be added to that. People should not be convicted for the offence of involving in any kind of hazards, like, okay. So these are certain regulations. So to sum up with the regulations, so you can see that in regulations we have learned that there is, first one we learned was about that the merchant banker should follow all the rules of SEBI, and they should get a certificate. To get a certificate, they should give that prescribed fee. They have to pay the prescribed fees to the SEBI. That is, initial application is 50,000, then initial registration to 20 lakh, and permanent registration 9 lakh. Then we also learned that they give 1 month time to settle all the disputes. Then they should have infrastructure, manpower, and they should have an experience in merchant banking field, and they should follow the capital adequacy requirements, what it is there, and they should complete any professional course like law, business or management. They should not have any litigation, nor they should be convicted by any offence. Okay, so this is related to the regulations of merchant banking, or to be a merchant banker, and you need abilities. So this is the regulation laid by SEBI. What are all the abilities he should possess? He should be able to he should be able to analyze any kind of situation. He should be having the knowledge of that particular activity, that is merchant banking services, and he should be able to build a relationship, and integrity is important, and innovative. So as I've already told in the characteristics also, they should be innovative and they should not be repetitive. If you all are repetitive, then people doesn't come to that particular merchant banker. By innovating and customizing, innovating here means it is customizing. According to the customer, you need to change your process, and you need to change your requirements. Whatever according to your policy should be changed according to the client's requirements. So these are the abilities which they possess: ability to analyze, ability to make decisions, ability to gain knowledge and update knowledge, ability to build relationship, ability to innovate and integrate. Okay, these are certain regulations related to SEBI and the abilities as a merchant banker he should possess. Let's move on to the next one, which is the functions of merchant bankers. What do they do? Okay, so we have discussed that issue management is there. Okay, then we said that primary market they are concerned with. So when we say all these in the primary market related to issue management, what do they do? First function, raise fund for clients. Anytime, any point of time, if the company need funds, then the merchant bankers help the companies to generate fund, either by primary issue or by secondary issue, that is left to individual choice. But raising funds for the clients, that is their first function. Okay, this helps the customers to raise funds domestically as well as internationally. So it is not only limited to any particular area. So it might be issue of shares, debenture, bank loans, it might be anything, but they help them to raise the fund. Okay. The second function is handling government consent for industrial projects. So if you need any consent or advice, then merchant bankers will help you out. Any business requires government permission for starting a project. Okay, companies also require sometimes permission for expansion and modernization activities. Merchant banks do it for their clients, getting permission, modernizing, expansion, everything for the purpose of their clients. They do it. Okay. Next is brokers in stock exchange. So merchant bankers act as brokers in the stock exchange. These brokers' role is to buy and sell the shares on behalf of the client. Okay, that is their role. And then advise on expansion and modernization. Yes, the banks have executives who advise the customers on the expansion and modernization of the business, like how much cost is involved, and give advice on acquisitions and takeovers. All this is done by merchant bankers. And then managing public issue of companies. Yes, I have told you, no, the main thing in the primary market issue is issue of shares to the public. That will be managed by merchant bankers. Okay. Then related to private sector units. Okay. Services related to private sector units, public utilities, they try to help in raising of funds, marketing of securities, they help in marketing of securities. See, public company, once it is there, people are guaranteed that yes, there is guarantee that our money is safe. But when we think of a private sector, then obviously people will hinder, they would not like to invest. So at that time, the marketing is very important. Okay, so marketing of the securities, then foreign collaborations, and also managing long-term finance. Okay, and other functions are like special assistance to small companies. When small companies are there, they need special privilege or special assistance, and they advise on the growth opportunities, business opportunities, what kind of government benefits are there, incentives are there, policies are there. Such kind of advice is provided and assistance is given for small companies. Then management of interest and dividend. Merchant banker helps their clients to manage their interest, debentures, dividend on shares, and they provide advice on the client related to the rate of dividend and time. Okay, like at what time the dividend should be declared, what rate it should be declared, all that they give advice, what kind of interest rate you can charge and how much can be charged. Such kind of advices is made. Okay, then money market operations. So you know the money market instruments, it is a short term instruments like commercial paper, treasury bills, certificate of deposits and all, bonds and all. This helps issued by large firms, government bonds or treasury bills issued by RBI. Everything is like the market, the merchant bankers deal with short-term money market instruments. They help in dealing with short-term money market instruments. Okay. Then leasing services. Yes, leasing services in detail I'll explain in the next unit, because the entire unit is related to leasing and you have problems in that too. Merchant bankers also help in leasing services with the where the lessor allows the use a specific account to the lessee for a certain period of time, that is for rentals or fees. They'll help you out to lease out for a certain duration of time. That is leasing services. So these are certain functions. Certain functions involve leasing. Okay, then it involves helping out services to the private sector, assisting the small business firms, handling the government consent and industrial project, raising funds for the clients, acting as a broker for the stock exchange, advising for the purpose of modernization, reconstruction, expansion, helps in public issue, management of interest and dividend, money market operations, leasing services. So these are all certain functions which are undertaken by a merchant banking firm. Okay. On the basis of functions itself, the categories are categorized. Okay. The categories are categorized into 4 categories. Category 1, category 2, category 3 and category 4. So, there are total 4 categories. Let's start with the first category. First category is where the merchant bankers do all kind of activities. He can act as an issue manager, he can act as an advisor, as a consultant, as an underwriter, as a portfolio manager. He can carry all the activities relating to the management of the issue, such as preparation of prospectus, determining financial structure, how much money is needed for the issue, that is financial structure, conduction of market surveys, raising funds from capital market, raising from funds through new instruments or through money market, arranging bought out deals to provide on mergers, acquisitions, loan syndication, technology tie-ups, working capital finance, ventures capital, lease financing, fixed deposit management, factoring, portfolio management of mutual funds, rehabilitation of securities, what all. Almost all the activities can be performed by category 1 merchant bankers. That is the reason their capital adequacy requirement is 5 crores. Okay, category 1. Next we'll move on to category 2. Category, as and when the category increases, their workload decreases. It is vice versa. Okay, so category 2, merchant bankers is where they act as an advisor, consultant, underwriter and portfolio manager. They cannot act as an issue manager to their own, but can act as a co-manager. You probably understood, I guess. They can assume all kinds of roles like advisor, consultant, underwriter, portfolio manager, everything. But they cannot be an issue manager. At the time of issuing shares in the primary market, they cannot be an issue manager, main issue manager. They can be a co-manager. Okay, that is the reason their capital adequacy requirement is 50 lakhs. Okay, next, category 3. Category 3 merchant bankers allowed to act as an underwriter, advisor and consultant only. Okay, only these 3 activities. They can neither undertake as issue management by their own, they cannot be a co-manager and they cannot undertake any activities of portfolio management. Okay, so category 3 is where they can act as an underwriter, advisor, consultant only. No portfolio management, no issue manager, neither they can act as a co-manager. And their capital adequacy is 20 lakhs. Last one, category 4. The category 4 merchant bankers can merely act as a consultant, advisor or to an issue of capital. So they can act as a consultant, advisor, they cannot be an underwriter, they cannot be involved themselves as an issue manager, they cannot be a co-manager, they cannot manage the portfolio management, nothing. They can either be an advisor, either they can be a consultant. So their capital adequacy is nil. So as the options you serve is more, the capital adequacy will also be more, requirement is more. And it, along with its restriction in roles, the capital adequacy also comes down. So that is it for today's class. In the next class, we'll learn the services offered and other pre-issue and post-issue. So let's sum it up. We discussed with the meaning of merchant banking, that is the institute which provides the service, and merchant banker is a person who gives services to its clients related to financial advice and consultancy advice. Okay, and difference between merchant and commercial bank. Commercial bank serves for the customers and anyone can open up, where merchant banks they normally serve for corporate firms and they have restrictions. Direct impact is there on the economy of the merchant banking activities, whereas commercial bank there is no much and liquidity and risk is also high in merchant banking, whereas commercial banks it is just managing the financial roles. Then features of merchant banking, we discussed on certain features like how the merchant banker helps you out in trading with the activities of the features, that is what all activities is being taken of the merchant banking. Features like how a merchant banker helps you out to do a business. Okay, how a merchant banker helps you out in conducting all the activities pertaining to the business. All that is the features of merchant banking. Then regulations we learned, whereas we learned the regulations related to SEBI, like how you need to take the approval of SEBI, okay, before being the member, and to get the approval you need to pay the application fee of 50,000. Then you have to initial registration 20 lakh, then 9 lakh for the permanent registration, how you need to pay that and take the registration, and how complaints should be redressed, infrastructure facilities, about that we learned. And then we learned about the functions. In functions we learned that the different kinds of roles and functions which is adapted by the merchant bankers, where why they raise the funds, how they help in raising the funds, taking the government project, advising in acquisitions and expansions and modernization, public, how they serve for the public and private, that we learned. And in categories we learned about the 4 categories: category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. Category 1 can do all the activities. Category 2 cannot be the issue manager but can be the co-manager. Category 3 cannot be the issue manager, cannot be the co-manager. Category 4 cannot be the issue manager, co-manager, underwriter and portfolio manager, can only be advisor and consultant. So these are the different categories and the contents of unit 3. This is just an intro of unit 3. In next class we will learn about the services offered by the merchant bankers. Thank you.